Grace and peace, and spoiler alert for WandaVision, the whole mini-series. Unless Disney somehow figures out a way to make a season 2. All 9 episodes that currently exist of WandaVision, I'm going to be talking about them here because I am the Movie Pass store. WandaVision is an excellent show. I really enjoyed it. Of course, I have loved the whole MCU, and it's a shame that I didn't start my channel earlier. Maybe someday to come I'll get to do like a rewatch of the MCU through with you, because there's so much content to talk about in all of those movies. And WandaVision is certainly no exception. Looking at deeper meaning in WandaVision, which is what I do, it seems like WandaVision has a lot to say about narrative and meaning. How it is that the things that we take in, the art that we imbibe, the things we read, but in WandaVision's case, especially the things we watch, form us. How it is that the TV shows that Wanda Maximoff had been watching at these critical moments of her life, these moments of tragedy and these moments of enormous change swirling around her, gave her something to help her. It furnished her with equipment for this massive crisis that took place in her life in Avengers Endgame. I guess it turns out that since I'm talking about WandaVision, I'm also talking about everything that happened previously in the MCU that WandaVision spoiled. So, double spoiler alert there. Do you know what I mean, though? So Wanda, in WandaVision, it turns out, has been obsessed with sitcoms. She's just a person that loves sitcoms, which is interesting already, right? Because they never established that about her character. There's nothing in any of the other movies that lead us to believe, oh yeah, Wanda loves sitcoms. But then that's kind of true to life, right? Like, people who are into sitcoms aren't like people who are into Star Wars, in that they don't talk about sitcoms all the time. They don't like find segues to stick Malcolm in the Middle into everyday conversation. They just like them. And when we watch something, when we read something, when we identify with something, this channel is all about how we identify with those narratives. Those narratives speak to us, and they mean things to us, and they matter. And so WandaVision asks the question, what is it that if somebody devises most of their narratives, engages, the art they engage with most is from sitcoms, what does that do to them? And daringly, boldly, it seems to say, well, it deadens them. That sitcoms are, for Wanda, an escape from reality, a way not to deal with the truth, and a way to fail to take responsibility for a temporary amount of time. That's what Wanda does. So if at these moments of tragedy she has previously turned to visions of reality where nothing really bad can ever happen, right? There was that one scene of why are you laughing at this guy being grievously injured? Because he's not grievously injured, because that doesn't ever happen in these shows. And if that's where I turn, then that's where I'm going to turn when tragedy strikes. If I had watched a different series of shows, if I'd been like maybe into westerns or something, then I might respond to tragedy with the feel that I need to stand up to the problem and have a showdown, right? Or if I'd read romance novels, I might go meet the problem at the airport. I don't know. The point is, within WandaVision, the point is that Wanda uses TV to escape. And that's interesting because, of course, this is a meta show, right? Meta is a Greek word meaning after. And so usually we use it to mean it's a show about shows, right? WandaVision can only be enjoyed if you know something about the Dick Van Dyke Show, and you know something about Bewitched, and you know something about The Office. It relies on those and then comments on them. Talks about what they do to Wanda and to us, ultimately. But then WandaVision is a show, and it knows it's a show, and so it's playing with this second level of reality. It's stepping out of itself in an experimental way by saying, remember this show, remember this show, remember this show. You're watching a show, and that's where I think I don't know. I think the ending let me down, but I want to hear from you about this, because at the end of this series, they kind of trashed that whole idea, right? Like the beginning of the series was this deeply experimental, bonkers, weird, we're going to show you the first 2 episodes in black and white and do something with no explanation. Like, it was very edgy, very, very like never been done before in art history. And the last 2 episodes were very typical of the MCU. I mean, they were good. They weren't bad, but they were not this experimental film stuff that was going on in the beginning. And they didn't really rely upon it. Like, in the last episode, Wu just says, oh, Wanda canceled her show. Which is confusing. Like, why? What are they trying to say when they make the show do that? And was it the fact that, like, the writers had free reign early in the series to make something really special and really unique, but then we needed to button it up and set up Doctor Strange's Multiverse of Madness? Because that's kind of what it felt like in some ways, and I'm not super mad about that, right? Because universe building in the MCU is good, and I benefit from it, and it's important. Or is it? If that's the case, though, I want to like go back and be like, then what were you saying with the TV stuff? Alternatively, could it be that the series ended the way the series ended because we were moving through the decades, and we went 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2010s, 2020s, and now we're talking about TV as it exists now. And now the show, WandaVision, Wanda's show, looks like the real world, which is to say, looks like the MCU, because the statement being made is that this is what TV shows are going to look like now. Maybe Disney is saying to us, this is the new face of sitcoms. You've seen sitcoms be this, and this, and this, and this, and now you're seeing sitcoms be MCU movies. Expect this from now on. This is the new face of television. High quality CGI, cinematic level production with Hollywood stars telling stories that match the stories that are connected to massive franchises. This is the new fake. It's not the new reality, it's the new fiction. And if it's saying that, then we have to ask the question, what does that mean? Because if the previous stuff meant there's a way to deaden the pain, this is a way to avoid, this is a way to not feel, this is a way to not deal, this doesn't connect, and now this is the new thing. Should we be watching it? I've found the narratives in the MCU to be extremely meaningful and deep. The messages of heroism, the messages of diversity and uniqueness and responsibility in power. Are these messages real, or is that a smoke show to hide the fact that really we turn to comic books to get a break from the suffering of our daily lives? I want to hear from you. Why don't you tell me in the comments? And take a look at these.